Hi, welcome to Miss Julie's Montessori Minutes. I'm Miss Julie here in my Montessori Toddler Classroom, and today I'm just going to give you a tour of my classroom because I realize I've never done this before. A few things to keep in mind. One are the ages of the toddlers I have right now here in spring of 2022, and that is my very youngest is turning 2 in May, and then I have 2 that are already 3. So that's the age range I have. So that is why I have the materials I have out right now, and this varies quite a bit in a Montessori toddler environment throughout the year as they master things so quickly at this age. All right, so here we go. And behind me are the cubbies in the corner by the entrance. I'm not showing those because they have the children's names and photos on them. But here's a little chalkboard. It's nice to have in this area, so as we're transitioning, when some children are ready to go outside and others aren't, we can just color on the chalkboard together. Also, there's good light from the window to the right. There we have the little bench for the children to put their boots and shoes on. These over here are our low tables, so they can do work on the floor with those or hold practical life work that isn't done at a table, so they just have a little elevated surface to put their materials on. Do have a new dining table. We used to have a longer one and I loved it, but one of the problems we had is that they grow so much during the course of the year that by the end of the year the older children are really hitting their knees on our old table. So this one has adjustable legs, so I think that'll help make it more comfortable throughout the year. Again, that's outside our garden area. This is our food prep area. So on that corner shelf, we put out grape plucking, banana slicing, orange juicing, other items the children can use to prepare their snacks, and I'll link to a video on food prep ideas up in the right-hand corner there for you. But that's a little table that they make their snack on, or if they're helping the assistant prepare food for the group, they work at that table. And then this table is a work table during the day and then is converted to one of our lunch tables at mealtime. There's our hand washing at a station. And of course that's for pleasure and for the process of it, and then they wash their hands at the actual sink there for hygiene purposes, and that's where they do dishes as well. And of course that bleach bottle is put up when the children are present. Here's their placemats and plates, and in the drawers we have food prep items and glasses for drinking out of. And there's our refrigerator. Here we have practical life, so the dressing frame, snap zipper, and button. Window washing below. Now for the older children, we have brought in some primary works. These are preparation works in the primary classroom and refinement of skills for pinching and for pouring. And my daughter, who is my assistant right now, one of my assistants, is training to be a primary guide, so she's brought these in to practice giving these lessons and give the older children who want to a chance to refine their pincher grasp and their pouring skills. This is a ball tracker favorite. So we have more practical life over here, so just the cleanup tray with the sponge and the drying cloth so they can clean up, after working with clay or painting or anything else that gets the table messy, along with a little crummer. They use that a lot for dirt that tends to come out of the pot during plant cleaning and other activities. And then a duster for dusting cobwebs on the wall and door. And it expands telescopes, so they really like that one. We have wood polishing and mirror polishing, table scrubbing on the bottom. So right now the children are getting pretty advanced in using 2 hands together, and one of the greatest works to encourage a child not only to use two hands together, but also just to be able to plan the sequence of movements. They have to know when the best time to release the bead is so that they can pull the string through. And so we like to offer more and more challenging beading activities. So this is our pretty simple one, and then we've got little spools in there, and then the first work for sewing, which is the sewing cards. This is pencil sharpening. And for open close is always out with different items. So right now, just for the week before Easter, we have some different egg-shaped containers there. And then for in and out, they're getting pretty good, so we don't have any of the simpler, typical wooden Montessori ones out anymore. They've definitely mastered that, so we just have this little metal there. That's the coin bank, and then little coins to put it in, and keys, which we just rotate different locks and keys, and a wing nut board. And I brought out, these are from the Montessori mailbox, but we're just using them as a little intro to geometric solids, so we'll learn the names of those shapes. And then another cloth matching, so they can do that visually, or we can give them a blindfold and they can do it tactile, which is what they'll do in the primary level too. So just again, keeping those older children engaged, because where I live, there aren't usually primary spots open during the year, so they do finish the year with us as young 3-year-olds and then begin at a Montessori school. All right. So our plant care, so watering, dusting the plant, washing the plant leaves, and then on the top is just a little ornament hanger that I put out certain times of the year. And right now we just have some little spring birds, little birds for spring, and they'll just hang those up. And even the older children, this is quite a challenge because the hooks are facing away from them, so they can just decorate it and leave it out there for everyone to enjoy. And then we have cutting with scissors, or art easel right there for painting. And then gluing, usually we just have 3 collage, but leading up to Easter, we do have the cross out with squares for precise gluing, and they really do enjoy that work from time to time to be able to match the shapes up in glue. And then we've got some harder clay. We put away the Play-Doh as their fingers have got stronger, and we just have some non-drawing modeling clay there. And free coloring, watercolor paint, and just a little clipboard. They see us using clipboards for observation and such, and they like to have their own little clipboard too, and eventually we'll add multiple clipboards. And then some of the older children will be getting a simple stencil, which is basically the metal insert, but it's a simpler presentation, and I bought a different color than primary uses for metal insets, and I don't call them metal insets. I don't really want to steal the thunder from primary work with that. Work desk, my auto harp. Whenever reading areas, they can sit and look at books with friends, and instruments here. And I've got this little drawer where we keep song cards, and then that's for poetry cards. Some books there. Here we have puzzles, and I do bring in the spindle box for the older children because they are very interested in numbers and the symbol for numbers now and counting, so they can do that work here. And then for our language right now, we just have out some sharks, some African animals, matching marine vehicles there, sheep family, always popular, different construction vehicles. And then in this box, just have some scarves and then some pictures of different ways that people wear scarves, so they can flip through that. If they ask us to help them put a scarf on, we will, but we don't like to give a lesson on putting on scarves, so they get a chance to touch the scarves and look at different ways people wear scarves. All right, another little reading area and books we have out right now. I really like when this is one I've checked out from the library before, but bought. It's a really sweet story. I recommend that. And here's a mirror with some cloths they can use to wash their face. And a little reading chair, and then our waste paper basket. And we haven't had the tissues out for them to wipe their own noses during COVID, but we'll probably be adding that over here soon. Here we have the stereognostic bags. I'll link a video of how that lesson's given. Some rock sorting, and below just some magnetos. I just have something out for building at all times and rotate them. And here's our mop area with mop heads, dusting, floor broom, a sink area. All right, so give you a view from another angle too, without getting the cubbies in. All right. And sometimes I've had a table in this empty space that we're just feeling we need more room for movement right now. So we've got this area empty, and I do plan on getting a new rug for that area soon. Maybe one of those ruggables. If any of you have those washable ruggables, let me know how they work for you. Okay, so there you have it, my Montessori Toddler Classroom for ages 18 to 3 years, but right now nearly 2 years old to 3 years old, and licensed for 12 students, but we generally cap about 10 to 11 just because in a Montessori environment, the toileting piece does take quite a bit of time since we're wearing cloth. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the comments.